Center Stingers actually on the bus and leaving right now on their way to Hershey. We'll have the game on Cat Country 106.3 FM. Meanwhile, in Florida, the Pirates are getting set for the opening of the regular season, and they've got some spring training ball left to play. Joe Block is in Florida and joins us on the line this morning. Joe and the Pirates. Tampa Bay tonight, huh? You take on the Yankees.
Yeah, the Pirates are going to travel north and take on the Yankees at night. So if you're looking for some baseball on your radio in the evening, you're going to have that coming up the next 3 days. So the Pirates are starting to get ready for the regular season, playing at night like they will during the regular year a little bit more.
Yeah. Day off yesterday for the Pirates, and I would assume for you as well, Joe. What do you do on a day off during spring training?
Well, we went to the beach, grilled out in the backyard, just try to relax a little bit and
Nice.
enjoy some of the nice weather just like anybody else would with a day off. But most of the days, of course, we're at the ballpark, so it was nice to just get away for a little bit and have a little fun.
For the most part, it's been a pretty good weather spring training, hasn't it?
Best I've seen 9 years coming to Florida. Almost every single day has been 70s and 80s and almost no rain and very little hiccups. Sometimes it can get quite cool down here, especially in February when spring training starts up. The wind has been minimal, so a lot of times, you think about you see that ball get up in the air and you don't know who's going to catch it if anybody does, or it might even blow over the wall. But that has been very rare this year. We've only seen that a handful of games. So it's been really nice down here, and hopefully some folks have been able to come down and share some of it with us.
Yeah, well, it might be the best weather you've seen in 9 years. This might be the best Pirates team we've seen in 9 years and even more, right?
Yeah, I think, I got here right after the playoff run, and so that's a great point. I hadn't thought about that, but depending on what these young players do, if a lot of them realize, closer to their potential this year, there's no reason why they couldn't be a contending team throughout the rest of the year. I mean, if they can pick up 8 more wins than they had last year, and the reason I say 8 is that would get them to 84 last year. Arizona won 84 games, and they went all the way to the World Series. They qualified for the postseason. So it doesn't mean that's always the magic elixir that gets them to the promised land, but it's one thing that you can kind of think of that really they're knocking on the door, and they should improve this year, and that makes me think that they should contend for this season. So could it be the best team that I've seen? Yeah, sure. But hopefully it'll be one of the better teams that folks have seen in recent years, too.
One of the interesting things to me is the storylines with this Pirates team heading into spring training and how they have developed. They've generally been very positive. You think about the Oneil Cruz situation. He's come back. He's looked terrific. The Henry Davis situation at catcher, I think, has been an eye-opener for the Pirates, too. Those two guys are going to be keys to the Pirates' future. Yeah,
I mean, neither of them have played a full Major League season yet, and you can envision Davis not only being good behind the plate, but we saw in spring training and at glimpses last year, he can be good at the plate, too. And so if you got a catcher that's even just an average hitter, that's one of the. I mean, he's a borderline all-star because catchers there are very few that hit these days. So that's already a bonus because if you got a catcher that can hit, well, almost nobody else does. There's an advantage for the Pirates. Same thing at shortstop. A lot of the shortstops there's a few, but there aren't too many that can really hit. And Oneil Cruz, clearly, I mean, he's only played 98 games in the major leagues, and we've seen here in the spring the last 6 games, he's hit 7 home runs. And you're only getting 2 or 3 at bats in a game. So I mean, it's that he's a different player. I mean, the talent clearly is exceptional. He's one of the most talented players, really in the last quarter century to play the game. But now, how do you realize that? And so I think if that happens more so than not this year, and then continues on. Well, now you have a superstar type player, and as some of our analysts have said, to a potential Hall of Fame player if he realizes that talent. So that's the stuff that makes me optimistic that, you do need a lot of things to go right, but there is that path to saying, well, the Pirates can be a contending team this season.
Yeah, well, one of the wonders about Oneil Cruz is his hitting overshadows the fact that out in the field, he's a wonder there as well. The arm is what we think of most. The size at shortstop and whether he can continue to handle that position at that size with that frame, it's really going to be something to see as his career develops. Does he end up in the outfield? Is he a full-time shortstop for a good portion of his career until his later years in MLB? It's really going to be interesting to me to watch Oneil Cruz in the field. I think that's as much fun to watch as him at the plate.
Yeah, and I'd go out as far as to say, Cruz at shortstop, and maybe he's improved, but what we've seen him do already, he would have been better than just about everybody that the Pirates trotted out there last year, maybe with the exception of Alico Williams. But Williams, at a very short time in his brief big league career, a rookie last year, he can't hit anywhere close to what Cruz can do. So Cruz is at least an adequate shortstop, and maybe can work his way into being an average or even above average shortstop with that arm. And that may even be what he's doing now, because in the games that we've seen in the spring, when he's made an error, it's one of those where, just focus on getting the ball over there. Okay. Those are really easily avoidable things. And then those are probably things that go away in the regular season when the games count. Just a brief lapse of focus. We see that with young players. It's not a physical thing. It's not like he's tripping over his legs, try to get to the ball or anything. He's fluid. He's smooth, to the point of, like I said, I'm trying to set a low bar here, but I mean, even if he's just an average shortstop, average means that half the guys aren't as good as you. So I think that's where I'm thinking that he kind of falls into, and that'll work plenty fine for a guy that can hit like that. So the Pirates have that advantage of having a shortstop that can hit like an all-star, and maybe a catcher that can hit like an all-star. And then all of a sudden, now you're ahead of the other teams because of that, and I think that would be a big advantage for the Pirates.
Joe, of course, you have an opportunity there in Florida to take a look at the Pirates every single day, but you also have the opportunity to talk to other broadcasters that through the course of a spring training you'll run up against, and maybe some that you don't see during the regular season. Have you talked with any of them about the Pirates or about this player or that, and seen that they also see in the Buccos and in a guy that an ability that really opens their eyes too?
Yeah, I mean, the guys we were talking about, there are a few others as well, and that's what starts to get you excited, is when other teams that have no rooting interest, other guys that have no rooting interest in the Pirates, tell you how good they think your team is. And so we're seeing that. Obviously, Paul Skeens, another guy like Cruz, sky's the limit with that guy. That's the type of player that if he stays healthy, et cetera, that's a Hall of Fame type talent. There's a lot of Hall of Fame talents that don't even amount to anything. That. But that's the kind of potential that he's got. And then there's some guys that Jared Jones has looked so good. He was a Pirates second-round pick out of high school 3 years ago, and he would have just come out of college this past summer. So he's only 22 years old. So you got Skeens, who's 21, Jones, who's 22. Both of those guys, you could argue, are big league ready now or close to it. And so that's exciting to have two really big power arms, guys throwing 101, 102 miles an hour to top your rotation. And that's how I see it. I mean, I think those guys with polish could be your 1 and 2, top of the rotation type pitchers to go along with Mitch Keller, who was an all-star last year. And then you can slot in some other young guys like Quinn Priester, who's pitched well in the spring and looks better. And it's not a departure to say, well, by the all-star break, this team has the rotation is a strength for this team. And of course, it's been a big question mark coming into spring training. Yeah. The lineup, guys can hit for power, so we always get optimistic in spring training. Usually it's not as good as the tops, but there is certainly a room to see where the Pirates can be a very good team this year, yes.
Yeah, I was talking with Greg earlier in the spring, and I said, can you imagine in 2 years we're talking about a rotation of Skeens and Jones and Solomito and Chandler and Keller is still there, and my goodness, we might not have a room for a Priester or for some of these other arms that they're looking forward to coming up for the Pirates. It's going to be a really special time. Joe, tell me about the grilling yesterday. What'd you put on the grill?
I found some steelhead trout that I liked, and it was pretty good.
Really?
Typically, yeah. What's that?
Really?
Yeah, no, it was really good. It wasn't gamey at all. It tasted real mild. It was nice. Sometimes we'll do salmon, sometimes we'll do chicken. We had burgers a couple days ago. Sometimes we do lemon pepper chicken or barbecue chicken, that kind of thing. So I don't have a lot of time to smoke any meats or anything down here. I'm just slap it on there and have some fun with it. But
you're living the life.
Yeah, try to do a little. I love to grill though, so I'll grill them all winter up in my house. So, I always get out there and I don't care. I like the cold weather too. So, but the warmer weather makes it a little bit easier. I'll stay outside by the grill instead of coming back in once in a while.
Oh man,
and having some fun with it.
Oh man, family able to get down and visit with you too?
Yeah, they were down for a little bit. We did our first trip to Disney World, and all reports were good. From there, we came back with as many kids as we took, so that's good.
Yeah, when you do the head count and it comes out with the right number, then that's a good deal.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yep. All right, we're good.
Hey,
we had a lot of fun. It's been good. Thanks for asking.
Joe, have a wonderful rest of spring training. We'll talk with you again on Friday and then on Monday, too, as you wrap things up with us, and we appreciate all of your time.
Oh, thanks for having me on. Thanks, Todd.
There's Joe Block with us from Florida this morning, and it's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. And our conversation with our Pirates broadcasters brought to you by A&A Construction and by Delaney and Fritz PC.